to overtime.
Dwayne Wade right at the body of Anderson Varejao. Welcome to your Kodak moment, Anderson Varejao.
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer!
Moving on from Bruce Brown to the Nets, let's talk about a move that flew entirely under the radar because it happened literally 3 minutes before the Bucks Drew Holiday trade. But Robert Covington to Portland for Trevor Ariza, the 16th pick this year, and another future first. Protected, of course. I love this move for Portland. I think 2 first-round picks is a little much to give up, but the whole draft process, I've been mocking some sort of wing to them at 16th. Sadiq Bey, who I was like, it's the next Robert Covington. Whoever it is, Josh Green, who's like the next 3-and-D shooting guard, the next Danny Green. I know people hate Danny Green right now, but he is really good, or was really good in the past. So, look, giving them a wing makes sense. Trevor Ariza is not great at this point. But yeah, I think this is exactly what Portland needs. In a vacuum, 2 first-round picks is a bit much to give up for Covington, but this opens up so much for Portland. And the most interesting thing to me here is the starting lineup now. Because Gary Trent broke out in the NBA bubble. So, of course, you're going to have Dame, CJ, and Nurk as your 3 starters. So where do you put Covington? Is Covington a 3 or is Covington a 4 for you? Because the past 2 years, Covington has played 4 for the Rockets and for the Timberwolves. And he can do that. He is defensively versatile and intelligent enough to do that. He's a very good shooter. He could be huge for this team because the starting lineup I would run out would be Dame, CJ, Gary Trent Jr., Robert Covington, Yusuf Nurkic. I like that most, but also, what does that do to Zach Collins? Well, Zach Collins now becomes expendable. Zach Collins is a young player that a lot of teams really liked. The Knicks were trying to get Zach Collins and some expiring money, maybe Hassan Whiteside's expiring contract, for Marcus Morris, who would also have fit that role, but, that's all past and gone. But Robert Covington gives this team so much to work with because now they can do their semi-small lineup where they, Dame, CJ, Gary Trent, Covington, Nurkic, or they can go big where it's Dame, CJ, Covington, Zach Collins, Nurkic. It gives them a little to work with. And this is a team that has desperately needed a 3-and-D wing that can really defend good players for ages now. And that's why they got Trevor Ariza at the trade deadline because they thought he could be that for them, and he just wasn't. And look, I mean, you need someone to at least match up with LeBron. Like, no one's going to stop LeBron. Covington is by no means the LeBron stopper, but he will do something to LeBron, and that is hugely important for the Blazers, who do not have the best defense and have an especially awful defense when they can't stop anyone on the wing, when they can't do anything to Kawhi, to Paul George, to LeBron, to all the great wings in the NBA. And this gives them that. And maybe it's a bit of an overpay, but it was such a position of need that it kind of works out. And I have Portland as one of my, 5 favorite and most watched teams because, watching Dame is electric television. But this is a good move.